At age 50, it can very often feel that we've hit a bit of a life milestone. We're supposed to have everything pretty much sorted: careers, finances, family and whatnot. And many of us start using those things as indicators of how much of a successful, responsible adult we've been. For many, it's also a time of looking forward to slowing down a bit and possibly even thinking about retirement, and certainly not dressing up from head to toe in skin-tight lycra and gunning it up the nearest mountain. For those that have recently started cycling or returned to cycling in their 50s, I can also imagine it's a bit of a strange time. On the one hand, you're hopefully enjoying all of the benefits of getting out and about on the bike, but on the other, there's still that stuffy old responsible adult that's trying to evaluate your performance. The trouble is that, well, let's just call him Mr. Buzzkill, might not be seeing the full picture. When anyone starts cycling, it's very easy to get all too concerned with the numbers, how far, how fast, etc. And while this can certainly be useful, it can sometimes lead to people becoming disappointed by their performance, and in some cases even giving up on their cycling before they've really had a chance to get started. The good news is that these numbers are by no means the only indicators of success. If you've recently started to question yours, I would suggest asking yourself what made you get on the bike in the first place. More often than not, many people in their 50s start cycling for health reasons, and I would argue that as long as you're getting out there on the bike 3 or 4 times a week and doing a ride that makes you out of breath for around 20 minutes or so, you will be doing wonders for your health, especially if all you were doing before was basically sitting, so on the sofa in the evening, at a desk in the office during the day, or in a car during the daily commute. If you have been pretty sedentary up until now, getting on a bike and exercising is not going to be easy. Your first few rides will be pretty tough all round, and you're going to feel it in your entire body, but especially in your arse, arms and legs. And depending on how hard you push yourself, your lungs and heart will be wondering what the fudge has hit them. But these feelings won't last forever. If you persevere and stick with it, I can personally guarantee that you will get fitter and it will become easier. All you'll need to do then is raise your game and push yourself just that little bit more to improve your fitness further, but only if you want to, of course. Don't worry if you aren't seeing health benefits immediately. Getting fit takes a little time, particularly if you're relatively unfit to begin with. Chances are you're not going to have some dramatic fitness epiphany. What's more likely is that your fitness will creep up on you so slowly you'll think that it's not happening at all, and then one day you'll realise that for the past 2 weeks you've been able to walk upstairs without getting out of breath. On the other hand, you may have started cycling for transport, in which case evaluating your success is pretty straightforward. You've either used a bike to get yourself from A to B, or you haven't. Yeah, okay, the rub might come if you start questioning how often you've actually done that, or how many car miles you saved, but even if riding a bike has prevented you from using your car once a week, that's a win in my eyes. On the whole, using a bike for transport is fantastic. It's clean and low cost, and in certain situations can actually be quicker than driving, particularly during rush hour. But it is kind of limited on a couple of important practical factors, mainly weather, distance, and the fact that you can only carry a small amount of stuff with you. Nowadays, it's possible to buy all kinds of waterproof clothing, and companies like Craft Cadence make completely waterproof backpacks specifically designed for cycle commuters. This is great if you only need to carry things like a change of clothes, a laptop, etc., or pick up a few bits from the local supermarket. But anything more than that and it starts to become somewhat tricky. Again, I would suggest looking at the bike as a way of reducing your car use rather than a total replacement. And if you can do that, you're doing great. And then there are those weirdos that simply ride their bikes for fun. They go off and explore new places or have a laugh with their cycling chums with no particular destination in mind. How do you evaluate how successful they are? Well, until they invent some handy little device, all you can do is go by feel. Simply ask yourself, are you having fun yet? But hopefully not in a creepy way like that. On a serious note, cycling is actually a great way to lift your mood because your body releases serotonin, otherwise known as the feel-good hormone, when you're doing it. In fact, many people find that riding a bike can improve their mental health and help to control conditions like depression and anxiety. In the past, medical science has been all too quick to find a chemical or a pill to treat these conditions, but nowadays simply getting on a bike and enjoying the fresh air is having an equally dramatic and positive effect. Only you will know precisely what effect cycling is having on your mental health, but I would suggest that if you've ever returned from a ride feeling better than when you left the house, that's another win right there. Numbers are great servants but lousy masters, and because we measure pretty much everything these days, it's also pretty easy to compare ourselves to others in similar situations. The problem is that when we do that, we don't really know the full story. It may sound a bit worn, but there will always be someone with better numbers and someone with worse numbers. So for me, it's not so much about where you are right now, it's more about how far you've come. So for instance, at first glance, only being able to ride a bike 5 kilometers might not sound like much, but if you've been a couch potato all your life, are completely unfit and have never ridden a bike until now, that's an incredible achievement. At the end of the day, when it comes to cycling, whether that's for fitness, transport or simply for fun, doing something is always going to be far better than doing nothing at all. Stick with it, good luck, and thanks for watching.